Let's talk about Greninja. Firstly, I want to start with the Greninja build. You go the Surf Smokescreen set with full heal, muscle, scope lens, and buddy barrier. Now this brings me straight onto mistake number one, which is people using all attacking items. Guys, we don't need the X attack. We don't need the attack weight. Alright, we don't need the extra rapid fire scarf. Okay, we just need to relax. There's a thing called mobility and there's a thing called sustain, especially when you're going in with deep offense with the character. I actually think buddy barrier is maybe his most useful item, because when you are diving in with that unite move, you're diving into trouble. Okay, you're not uniting on nothing, you're uniting on a group of them. So you need to get maximum damage and you need to be able to survive. Okay, you need to be able to hit them, take a couple of hits, surf, use your boosted basic, and kill a couple of people without just insta dying. So that's why I think X attack sure might help, but I don't like getting CC'd. I will also add that this combination of items will help you a lot when you're in a losing position. Because a lot of the time when you're winning with Greninja, you don't need the extra damage, it's just flexing at that point. Right, so these items are going to help you when you're in a losing position, and that's going to help you in turn win more matches. Now the next point I want to add, this is mistake number two, is people neglect the difference between the melee and the ranged autos and boosted attacks that Greninja has. When you are at range, have a look, it says when you use your auto, it's going to reduce the cooldown of surf by half a second. Now that's a really big deal, because you can surf to try and do some damage, and then you can kite away with your boosted autos. Okay, you can surf past them, smoke screen away, and then use your boosted autos if you're trying to get that surf back on cooldown. Now when you're in melee, Greninja's autos, they deal more damage based on his missing HP. So that's a lot of potential damage, and it works super well with his passive ability. So throughout the game, knowing the difference between the melee and the ranged autos and boosted, big deal, and it's a thing I see a lot of Greninjas just, it feels like they don't take advantage of it. It's one thing that the character, the Pokemon, it's so unique to that particular Pokemon, and people just treat him as if he's Cinderace. Okay, they just hold the A button. It's not a great way to use Greninja. He's got this massive skill cap, and this is just one little piece that can help you. Now that you're aware of it, it can help you really improve using the character and just get better and better at using it. Okay, my point number three, and I think this is a mistake that a lot of Greninja's players do, is that they get obsessed with trying to execute enemies with Surf. Okay, Surf is a skill. Yes, what it does do is the cooldown of the move will reset if you knock out an enemy or a piece of farm. Okay, yes, this has got high skill cap because you can damage enemies while chaining through farm if you know you're going to kill the farm. It's an amazing, incredibly powerful move that you can take such good advantage of, but people just get obsessed with trying to execute with it. It does so much damage, and especially if they're below 50% health, it does even more damage. If it doesn't reset the cooldown, that's fine. Your range basics can help reduce the cooldown, so it's not like you've got the full 9 seconds. And so I think this is just such a big mistake. You can do so much damage with this move, and you can also use it as an eject button. If you've got yourself in a really bad spot, you can get out. It's like you've got Smokescreen and Surf, so you've got so much mobility. Okay, and this leads me perfectly into my last point, which is using Smokescreen to escape like an absolute ninja. Okay, here I've got some gameplay where you're going to see this in action. A Dodrio dives on me, and I'm using my skills to eject away, and I'm using Smokescreen just so cleverly here. Right, you can see you don't want to run away in the same direction, so you can see our Smokescreen, and I'll run towards his base. That's not where he's going to anticipate me to go. So you need to use Smokescreen like a little ninja, because Greninja is the only character, the only attacker who can get away with doing something like that. He's so sneaky, he has so much potential, and you can see typically the enemy, if you Smokescreen, they're going to try and anticipate where you're running. You've got so many options. You've got the power play, right? You can determine where you are and where you aren't going to run. Now those are 4 mistakes that I think Greninja players are doing, and then as well as that, we've got our last Rayquaza fight. Now this, you've got to play pretty smart with a Greninja. See that I got Slowbro altered, I should die. Okay, luckily it's the solo queue. That Slowbro did the right thing. His attackers didn't back him up there. However, so I get out of jail free there. All I'm looking to do here is I'm just looking to do damage. I'm keeping myself at a safe distance. I've got my skills on cooldown, so I know I'm good. My Eldegoss is being incredible. And here I see this Dodrio, and I want him dead. He's got the potential to steal. He's got the potential to execute, and I figure, you know what? I'll just unite him. Because then I've got that extra damage to try and get the rest of the kills. And so I can see that Talonflame tries to get away. I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm keeping some vision. My team has then done the objective while the rest of their team was dead. And from this point, it's just a case of getting our scores in. We're quite behind on scores, but that's okay because you can do that at the Rayquaza fight. You can get your scores in and you can win the game. So here you can see we've just pulled the victory, and looking at the damage numbers, we're not looking to take too much. We've dealt 75, 74k, but we've managed to get the kills.